In the top stories, Prime Minister Harris to address the nation this afternoon. Tropical storm Elsa upgrades to hurricane, and Trump Organization CFO pleads not guilty to tax fraud scheme. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Friday, the 2nd of July, 2021. I'm Jason Davis. Nationally, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, will deliver an address to the nation today, Friday, the 2nd of July at 1 p.m. on ZIZ Radio and TV. In his national address, the Prime Minister will update citizens and residents on the current COVID-19 situation in the Federation. Persons are urged to tune in to ZIZ Television, Channel 5, ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM, or online at www.zizonline.com and also on our Facebook and YouTube pages. The Prime Minister's address will also be carried on the Facebook page of the SKNIS, that's the St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service. The police force continues to warn individuals to stay at home during a lockdown unless authorized to leave. As a guest on the radio program On the Road, Sergeant Calvin Amory said persons are being caught taking chances leaving their homes to make runs during the lockdown. He warned that anyone caught on the road will be arrested.
We're still seeing some of the motorists that are taking chances. Yes, you should be on a lockdown and you're leaving your homes and trying to make errands during the time when you should not be on the road. Once you're caught, we're going to be arresting you. We're very serious when it comes to that. We're expecting persons to follow the instructions. The SRO knows already laid out what you should be doing and what you should not be doing. And we're asking the general public, please, to conform with those instructions.
The public has been advised to apply for passes at www.police.kn. These applications will be processed between 24 and 48 hours. Minister of International Trade, Industry, Commerce, Consumer Affairs and Labor, the Honorable Wendy Phipps, says Cabinet is considering permanent placement for sidewalk vendors to allow them to ply their trade in a safer manner. She made the comment during the most recent NEOC COVID-19 briefing.
The Cabinet is currently looking at a program in terms of the permanent placement in appropriate locations for small business, micro enterprises as well, who are presently plying their trade on the sidewalks, which we know is risky. And from the indications that we have received from the Ministry of Health, that type of gathering also could contribute to the spread of COVID-19.
She said this will be more specifically targeted at non-agriculturally based vendors. The Bastaire Market Complex will host vendors selling agricultural produce such as fruits and vegetables. The minister continued that a report is being updated periodically before Cabinet.
What has been before the Cabinet is a report that is continually being updated by Mr. J. Farrier of the Ministry of Sustainable Development. There is a committee that has been put in place to look at that long-term response to what do we do with our small entrepreneurs.
Minister Phipps added that vendors will pay a nominal rent until, quote, they can afford a bigger type of bricks and mortar arrangement where they can choose a more permanent location on their own. She said similar arrangements are also being worked on for agro-processors, persons who manufacture bottled drinks, jams, jellies, and marmalades, just to name a few. We now move to news on the regional scene. A hurricane warning is now in effect for the southern portion of Haiti from Port-au-Prince to the southern border with the Dominican Republic due to the passage of Hurricane Elsa. Weather system Elsa, which grew from a tropical storm to a hurricane this morning, impacted Barbados and other southern islands this morning with heavy winds and rain. According to the 11 a.m. hurricane advisory from the National Hurricane Center, the Meteorological Service of the Dominican Republic has issued a hurricane watch for the south coast of the Dominican Republic from Punta Palenque to the border with Haiti. A tropical storm warning for the south coast from Cabo Engano to the border with Haiti, and a tropical storm watch from the north coast of Cabo Engano to Bahia de Manzanillo. The government of Jamaica has issued a hurricane watch and a tropical storm warning for Jamaica. According to the forecast, Elsa will move away from the Windward Islands during the next several hours, move across the eastern Caribbean Sea later today and tonight, and move near the southern coast of Hispaniola late Saturday or Saturday night. In other regional news, police in the Turks and Caicos Islands are continuing investigations into the discovery of a fishing vessel near Grand Turk containing 20 dead bodies. This comes after a similar incident occurred in Trinidad and Tobago recently, where a fisherman towed a boat with 14 dead bodies to shore. PTV News Watch Turks and Caicos with this report.
Investigations into those 20 bodies found aboard a vessel is still underway as police officials say they believe that the vessel was from outside of the region, which was probably not their intended destination. Newswatch now learns of a similar ordeal that took place near Bell Garden Bay in Tobago on May 20th, where 14 decomposing bodies were found by fishermen aboard a boat, confirmed by the TTTS Cybercrime Unit to be from Mauritania in Northwest Africa, who tracked the registration of a cell phone found aboard the vessel. However, were unable to confirm if those persons were citizens of the continent. Tobagonian authorities are working on identifying the bodies, of which were found in tracksuits and rain jackets, through fingerprint analysis. Meanwhile, Newswatch is awaiting the latest regarding investigations into those 20 bodies found in TCI waters and the circumstances surrounding their deaths.
Internationally, former President of the U.S. Donald Trump's company and its finance chief are being prosecuted for what has been described as sweeping and audacious tax fraud. Alan Weisselberg has denied 15 charges against him and the Trump Organization. Al Jazeera's Gabriel Elizondo reports.
Donald Trump likes to brag about the Trump Organization. He often says it's very successful and his pride and joy. But a grand jury in New York has another word for Trump's family business: criminal. After a nearly 2-year investigation, the Manhattan District Attorney indicted the Trump Organization for financial wrongdoing. Prosecutors say this man, Alan Weisselberg, the Trump Organization's chief financial officer, was one of the top benefactors of the alleged crimes. He worked for Trump for over 40 years. He now faces 15 felony counts. Prosecutors say he orchestrated a 15-year tax avoidance scheme, allegedly avoiding paying tax on $1.7 million in income. He pleaded not guilty, and the judge released him on bail. His next court appearance is September 20th. The 25-page indictment, which was unsealed Thursday afternoon, read in part that Weisselberg attempted to conceal his actions by falsifying records with the help of top executives at the Trump Organization. Who are the other top executives? Prosecutors are not yet saying publicly. Trump Organization lawyers, speaking after the court proceedings ended, said the charges do not rise to the level of a criminal indictment and are politically motivated because they involve the Trump name.
This case should have never been brought. It is a political prosecution. Political prosecutions where people are targeted criminally because the prosecutors disagree with their political beliefs happen in corrupt countries. It does not happen in America. It's un-American. It should not happen here in New York City.
Donald Trump also issued a statement saying the charges are a political witch hunt. It's important to point out that Donald Trump has not been charged with any crime. But legal observers say that if Weisselberg has damaging information and he's willing to cooperate with investigators, that could mean bad news for the former president. but it will all ride on Weisselberg.
I think he's been under pressure for the past 2-3 years to cooperate. He'll continue to be under pressure as the months and years here progress, as this prosecution progresses. But the important part is whether or not he has something to contribute and whether he wants to contribute it. And if he does, perhaps cooperation is something to look forward to in the future.
For now, there are still a lot of unanswered questions on where all of this could lead. Is this the final stage of an investigation, or could this be the first of more charges yet to come against others? Gabriel Elizondo, Al Jazeera, New York.
Africa's third wave of coronavirus infections is quote-unquote extremely aggressive and is pushing the continent to a whole new threat level, according to the World Health Organization. And the man in charge of securing doses for the continent has strongly criticized Europe, saying it has failed to deliver a single vaccine dose from the millions it promised. Al Jazeera's Victoria Gattenby reports.
Marie, a 57-year-old mother of 5, has come to this clinic in Kinshasa to get her second jab of the AstraZeneca vaccine. The Democratic Republic of Congo is suffering from a third surge of coronavirus infections, as are many other parts of Africa.
It's good for us to protect ourselves as we are experiencing this third wave of COVID-19. It's important we receive this vaccine because in doing so, we'll also save others.
She's one of the lucky ones. Only 1% of people across the continent have been inoculated. While richer, vaccinated countries are reopening their economies, African hospitals are becoming overwhelmed, oxygen supplies are running low, and the virus is spreading to rural areas. The man in charge of securing doses for the continent has criticised Europe, saying it's failed to deliver a single vaccine from the millions it promised.
Not a single dose, not one vial, has left a European factory for Africa. Okay? When we've gone to talk to their manufacturers, they tell us that they are completely maxed out, meeting the needs of Europe.
5.5 million infections have been confirmed among the continent's 1.3 billion people. COVAX promised to deliver 700 million doses to Africa by December, but so far just 65 million have actually arrived.
Rich countries like the UK, like the G7, just are putting the profit of pharmaceutical companies above public health, but not pushing companies to share their technology so that others in developing countries can produce the vaccines. So we are under the mercy of pharmaceutical companies.
The head of the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says there's been a 23% increase in the number of COVID-related deaths in the past week, and warns unless the continent can secure a regular supply of vaccines, the consequences will be catastrophic. Victoria Gatenby, Al Jazeera.
And now for the weather. Present weather is cloudy with dust haze. Winds are east to northeast at 16 to 26 miles per hour, with possible higher gusts to 37 miles per hour. The temperature is 27 degrees Celsius or 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Seas are moderate with waves of 6 to 9 feet, and a small craft advisory is in effect, but could be upgraded to a small craft warning later today. The weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis today and tonight predicts partly cloudy and hazy skies with a 40% or a moderate chance of showers. Sunset today will be at 6:49 p.m., sunrise tomorrow at 5:41 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jason Davis.